What's up everyone, and welcome to another Gamepass in review. My name is Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon, and today we're taking a look at Haven. Well, what is Haven? It's an RPG developed and published in 2020 by the Game Bakers, who Google tells me is an independent French studio because I've never heard of them. But let me tell you, after Haven, I'm going to keep an eye out for their next release. I want to get this out of the way immediately. This game is not for everyone. While being an RPG with some survival elements, the game straight up tells you Haven is not a difficult game and the story is the main focus. So if you don't like story-based games, this is not for you. Hell, it only has two settings, normal and easy, so even if you want to make it more difficult, you can't. Speaking of gameplay, what is Haven? Well, it puts you in control of two characters, you, spelled Y-U, and K, two lovers that have escaped their home planet to be together. On their home planet, you don't get to pick your partner. You're assigned a partner by some matchmaker. The ship you've been using as a home is damaged, and you set out to find parts to repair it. While exploring these islets that make up the planet you're on, you find some are infected with this reddish goop that they call rust, and it affects wildlife and makes them evil. Now, you have the ability to clear this rust and heal the wildlife through the power of flow. Well, what the heck is flow? Put simply, it's these glowing blue trails that you need to ride along and absorb their power. So you and your two characters grind on flow rails on the ground, in the air, you move around the area, you clean up the rust, and you battle the animals in turn-based combat. All while making sure you collect the ingredients of food so you don't starve to death. Honestly, that's really all there is to this game. It's like a weird love child between Super Mario Sunshine, Skate, Final Fantasy, and Grounded. The gameplay's fine, but you primarily do the gameplay to get to the next story advancement. As you level up, you get better stats, you unlock relationship scenes between the two characters, and let me tell you, these two characters are probably the most in-love characters in all video games. They're sickening at points. They have cute little scenes, they have funny scenes, they actually have pretty mature and sexual scenes. The story is what you play the game for, their relationship is what you play the game for. The dynamic between these two characters is absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere of this game. Let's talk about it. The game has a very appealing art style in my opinion. It's pretty low texture by design, which gives it an anime-esque look to the characters, something a little cartoonish, but the art style really works. The environment most of the time isn't anything special. They tend to be islands of grass covered in red goop. They're vibrant colors, but they only stick to green, red, and blue. What I do love about this game is the soundtrack. It's absolutely amazing. They set the tone perfectly depending on what you're doing in the game, whether you're talking with you and Kay, whether you're out battling, you're just exploring, some tracks being calm, others instilling a sense of exploration. I suggest everyone, even if you don't play the game, look up that intro cinematic and the song because it's an absolute banger. The game sets out to be artistic and meaningful, and I feel like it does just that. Now, let's talk about the bugs. While the game is optimized for X and S, it isn't flawless from a technical standpoint. There were occasional cutscenes where textures didn't immediately load and my game actually froze up twice. Once on a loading screen where it just gave me the loading symbol, which is a little bear. He just hopped endlessly and I couldn't progress. And the second was actually at the end game cutscene where it just gave me a screen full of swirling rocks. Luckily it autosaves and these are minor annoyances, so you just reload and you're right back to where you were. It still is annoying. The game is 4K 60 on Series X, and for my dozen hours with it, I never saw a drop in resolution or frames. So from that perspective, I can't fault it. Just some annoying loading bugs here or there. Personally, I think this is a hidden indie gem. I remember seeing it during the Kinda Funny Game Showcase last year, and thought it looked interesting. There are two endings to this game, which does give it some replay value, but you can get both in the same run if you use the automatic save they do before you head off to the final area. As opposed to most RPGs, there really aren't side quests in this game. You can work towards some achievements by going to different aisles and beating certain enemies, but clearing all the rust and the unique achievements are fun. Some of them literally just involve putting your controller down and letting the characters kiss or hug or lay in the grass. I can't see there being much replay value in this. With it being on Game Pass, I still think it's a fantastic value if you're looking for a relaxing, fun, and emotionally impactful game. I highly recommend Haven. I absolutely adored it. But just make sure you're in an emotionally appropriate state to play this game about two people madly in love, especially if you're lonely during quarantine. It might not be right for you at this time. That being said, game's great. I would highly recommend it. Project XTalk gives Haven a 7 out of 10.